Hey, what's up, you guys? My name's Alyssa, and this is Cleat Beat. Cleat Beat is the women's soccer show that covers from club to country across the world as best as I can. This week, let's dive into the NWSL Commissioner, Jessica Berman, who has been in the hot seat for a minute now. So, if you don't know the commissioner, Jessica Berman is actually a lawyer who served as the commissioner for the league since 2022. She's serving a 4-year term. She also predominantly previously worked in the National Hockey League, the NHL, and worked for the league in like 13 years as their primary counsel. She became, I think, their deputy general counsel and vice president of community development, which is like growth of the league, partnerships, and stuff. So, very similar to the work she's doing now for the NWSL. And she was actually like slated to be like the first woman commissioner of a men's sports league, and then, oops, she didn't really become the full commissioner. Um, anyway, so she's 2 years into her 4-year term, and I would say the consensus is not great. Let's get into it. So, Jessica Berman has been at the helm with some expansion teams. I think most famously, um, the Boston NWSL team, or formerly known as Boss Nation. Rest in peace, Girl Boss Nation. And they had quite a bit of a crash landing PR disaster. If no one remembers the promo, it just was like balls, balls, balls. And I don't know, it was like, there are no balls, there's too many balls. It was like very, I don't know, transphobic. And soccer famously is played with a ball. So, okay. She also signed or is credited with the largest media deal for women's sports league, which I think fans would argue, yes, cool that it's on ESPN sometimes and CBS sometimes and Paramount Plus sometimes and the NWSL app sometimes, but also, wow, so annoying that it's on all of these streaming things. And like, where am I going to watch the game, and what game channel is it on today, and do I have access to that, and how do I get CBS and its live coverage, and oh, actually there's a delay because it's live TV, or sometimes 3 games are on at the same time on 3 different apps. That's wild. So it was the largest, but I don't know about like the best. Next up, we have the sort of infamous Unwell FC partnership with Alex Cooper that I think went off like a lead balloon. Um, the league described the partnership as seeing Unwell fan activations at notable NWSL games through the NWSL season and include the launch of Unwell FC, a fan hype group. Um, Supporter groups across the league did not love this one, and that's fair. In particular, it was meant to be like a league group, like Unwell FC is meant to be like an NWSL supporter group. So it gives, I hope everyone has fun, which is not exactly the point of sports. Some of the supporter groups felt like they were ripping off supporter groups because, like, oh yeah, um, a fan hype group is called a supporter group. I don't know. It feels like a money grab. I don't know. But the hits do not stop coming for Jessica Berman, as she has faced most criticism recently for how the league and herself handled the medical episode of Savy King. We do have a more in-depth commentary on this, an article up on GOLZ.tv. If you want to look it up, it's called Jessica Berman and the Accountability Problem. You can find that in our articles. But this medical event basically had the league see Savy King collapse on the pitch during a game, where she received life-saving care on the pitch for about 10 minutes, including CPR and an AED machine, and then was stretchered off and sent in an ambulance to a hospital. We are really happy to report that Savy King has recovered. She did end up having to have a heart surgery, and we're really grateful that the medical teams and staff who were present during the game and afterwards were able to take such great care of her. And we hope she has a speedy recovery. You would think that someone receiving chest compressions would qualify as an emergency large enough to stop the game or at least postpone it. But according to Berman and the league, that's not the case. They said, we followed protocol. And then everyone was like, well, that protocol seems kind of bad if this doesn't qualify to for a stoppage. And now they're having huge backlash. So now they're going to respond. So a week later, after Savy King's medical event happened and fans were outraged, and the NWSL Players Association makes a statement, and the NWSL starts walking back a bunch of stuff, Berman was seen at the Bay FC versus Angel City game wearing Unwell FC merch, in a stark contrast to the Angel City players, who are Savy King's co-workers, basically, her team, were wearing shirts to honor Savy King, who survived heart surgery, which is what a great way to, end this story, because it could have gone really horribly. So then at halftime, they do media, and this is where Berman, I think, really steps in it. Tamara Griffin of The Athletic is, I think, the journalist hero of this story, because at the halftime presser, where Berman was clearly looking to field questions about Alex Cooper and Unwell FC, as branded on her t-shirt, she couldn't answer the hard questions, which were, I don't know, did you call an ambulance to replace the ambulance that took Savy King per the protocol? And you see her say that it wasn't important who did what and when. And then when they were like, were you awake? And she was like, I don't think that's important either. Could you be more of a politician about this? You obviously got caught doing something wrong. And I think the community 100% should be putting heat on you. And in the words of Tamara Griffin, who I think is outstanding, respectfully, you're the commissioner of the league. And in my words, a follow-up would be, and it would be nice if you started acting like it. So she's wearing all this merch in contrast to Angel City supporting a player who went down. And people are like, where's the transparency? Where's the honesty? Where is the accountability? And I don't think you're going to get that from a commissioner. You can see it across other leagues as well. Commissioners are not known for saying, hey, we messed up, sorry, because that is gonna probably open you up to lawsuits. And do I think that's right? No. If you did something wrong, you should be held accountable. But I think first and foremost, she is going to protect herself. I think also when the players union made their statement that basically called out the league for, oops, you did this wrong and why is this happening? I think they really realized that we have collective bargaining agreements that we'll have to negotiate, and we need to make sure that this is controlled. It was an emergency turned PR disaster, and that's not fair to Savy King, and nor was it fair to anyone who had to play in that game, regardless of how cool it was that Kristen Press got a goal. I don't know. I don't think this was handled properly. I don't think the press conference went how they wanted it to. And I am certainly interested to see what happens next. I don't know. What do you guys think? You gotta let me know. I'm curious.